Imagine lying in a quiet room, the world outside fading away, your eyes gently closing. You feel the soft rhythm of your own breathing, the faint pulse of life itself, and you begin to wonder, what is consciousness? What is it that makes you aware of yourself, of this very moment? For centuries, humans have asked these questions, staring into mirrors, into minds, and into the vastness of the cosmos, seeking answers that remain just out of reach. The mystery of consciousness is not just a philosophical curiosity, it is the gateway to understanding reality itself. And strangely, some of the most fascinating clues come not from the neurons firing in our brains, but from the strange, invisible world of quantum physics. The brain, an organ weighing roughly 3 pounds, is a universe of its own. It contains nearly 100 billion neurons, each connecting with thousands of others through intricate networks. These connections, trillions of synapses, generate the electrical impulses and chemical signals that allow you to think, to feel, to imagine. Neuroscientists have mapped these pathways, traced the firing of neurons, and yet, the simple act of conscious experience, being aware, having a sense of self, remains elusive. How does a collection of cells create the intangible reality of thought? How does matter become awareness? Here, physics begins to whisper its secrets. Quantum mechanics, the science of the very small, governs the behavior of particles far tinier than neurons. In the quantum world, particles can exist in multiple states at once, entangled across distances, and influenced in ways that defy classical logic. At first glance, this may seem unrelated to our brains or daily lives, but some researchers suggest a radical idea: perhaps consciousness is not simply a byproduct of neurons, but a phenomenon deeply intertwined with quantum processes. Could the mind itself be a quantum computer, processing reality in ways we have yet to understand? Consider the phenomenon of superposition. In the quantum realm, a particle does not have a single, defined state, it can be in multiple states simultaneously, only choosing a state when measured. Some theorists propose that consciousness operates similarly, a continuous wave of potentialities collapsing into experience. Each decision you make, each fleeting thought, could be a manifestation of countless quantum possibilities resolving into a single reality. This idea is as mesmerizing as it is unsettling. Your awareness might be a dynamic dance with the fundamental fabric of the universe. Entanglement, another quantum marvel, suggests that particles can remain connected even across vast distances, instantaneously influencing one another. Could consciousness, in some subtle way, be linked across minds, or even across space? While this idea borders on the poetic, experiments in quantum biology hint that such phenomena may not be purely theoretical. Studies suggest that quantum effects may play a role in the way certain proteins operate within our cells, or how birds navigate thousands of miles during migration. If nature itself relies on quantum mechanics to function, might the mind be no exception? Yet, these ideas are not universally accepted. Critics argue that the brain is far too warm and wet for delicate quantum states to persist, that any quantum coherence would collapse before it could influence cognition. They remind us that neurons and their networks already provide a formidable framework for understanding perception, memory, and thought without invoking quantum mechanics. And still, the questions remain. When you look at the night sky, when you feel awe or fear or love, what exactly is happening in your consciousness? Can conventional biology truly explain the vivid reality of experience, or is there more lurking beneath the surface? Consider the famous thought experiment of Schrödinger's cat. A cat is placed in a sealed box with a mechanism that can release poison based on the state of a quantum particle. Until the box is opened, the cat exists in a strange limbo, both alive and dead. Some philosophers have used this scenario to explore the role of consciousness in reality. Is it the act of observation, the conscious awareness, that determines the outcome? If consciousness can influence the state of reality at a quantum level, even hypothetically, then our very act of experiencing the world becomes a profound and active process. The implications extend further still. If consciousness is indeed linked to quantum phenomena, it might help explain experiences that have long puzzled scientists: intuition, sudden insights, the ineffable sense of connection we sometimes feel with others or with the universe. Perhaps these moments are glimpses into the underlying quantum nature of awareness, a subtle resonance between mind and the deeper, hidden currents of reality. In this sense, consciousness may not merely reside in the brain, it may be a bridge between the physical and the quantum, a luminous thread connecting the seen and unseen. And yet, for all its mystery, consciousness is deeply personal. It is the quiet whisper that says, "I am here." It is the soft recognition of your own thoughts, feelings, and presence. It is the canvas upon which the colors of life are painted, fleeting yet eternal in the moment of awareness. Some scientists, like Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff, have dared to formalize these ideas, proposing models where consciousness arises from quantum processes within microtubules inside neurons. While these models remain controversial, they challenge us to expand our understanding, to consider that the mind may be as vast, intricate, and mysterious as the cosmos itself. As you listen to these words, as you drift into a quiet focus, consider the possibility that your awareness is a window into something far larger than yourself. That each thought, each sensation, each perception, is not just a product of matter, but a resonance with the deepest laws of nature. Quantum mechanics and consciousness may seem worlds apart, yet both challenge the limits of what we know. They ask us to be humble, to wonder, and to embrace the unknown. Because perhaps the greatest mystery is not what lies beyond the stars, but what lies within the subtle flicker of awareness in your own mind. And here, in the gentle stillness, you may feel a small but profound truth: the more we explore, the more we realize that consciousness itself is a universe waiting to be discovered. A universe not of planets or galaxies, but of thoughts, awareness, and the shimmering potential of existence. And though the answers are distant, the journey itself, into the quiet, glowing depths of the mind, is a voyage as vast and mesmerizing as the cosmos above. In the quiet of a laboratory, far from the chaos of everyday life, scientists probe the strange world of quantum physics. Here, electrons and photons behave in ways that defy common sense, teasing the boundaries of reality itself. Among the many experiments that have captivated researchers, the double-slit experiment stands as one of the most profound, not just for physics but for our understanding of consciousness. When electrons are fired at a barrier with two slits, they create an interference pattern on a screen behind it, as if each particle simultaneously passes through both slits. Yet, when observed or measured, the pattern collapses, and the electron behaves like a single particle again. It is as if the universe is aware of being watched, a tantalizing hint that observation and consciousness may be intertwined in ways we do not yet fully comprehend. Physicists and philosophers alike have pondered whether the act of conscious observation affects reality. Is the universe in some sense incomplete until consciousness interacts with it? This idea is not merely speculative. In the 20th century, thinkers like Eugene Wigner and John von Neumann suggested that consciousness might play a role in the collapse of the quantum wave function, the moment when infinite possibilities resolve into one reality. If true, this implies that every act of awareness, every thought, every perception, could be a subtle participant in shaping the very fabric of existence. It is a notion both exhilarating and humbling. The world we perceive might not merely unfold around us, but with us. Meanwhile, within our brains, neurons continue their intricate dance. Microtubules, tiny tubular structures inside neurons, provide structural support and transport, but some scientists, most notably Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff, propose that they may also host quantum processes. These microtubules could act as miniature quantum computers, orchestrating information in ways that classical neuroscience alone cannot explain. Though this theory, called orchestrated objective reduction, orchestra-OR, remains controversial, it opens a window to a new way of understanding consciousness, not as an emergent property of complexity alone, but as a phenomenon with deep roots in the fundamental laws of physics. Consider what this might mean for human experience. Every time you make a decision, every time a memory surfaces, countless neurons fire, synapses transmit, and electrochemical signals ripple across networks. But beneath this, a subtler, quantum layer might be at work, guiding, amplifying, or even creating patterns of awareness that we perceive as thought. Intuition, sudden insight, the inexplicable knowing that sometimes occurs before reason catches up, these could be glimpses into the quantum depths of the mind, hints that consciousness operates on multiple levels simultaneously. It is a possibility both scientific and poetic, bridging logic with wonder. Yet, the relationship between quantum phenomena and consciousness is not merely theoretical, it has inspired intriguing experiments. In quantum biology, researchers have found evidence that some processes in living organisms may indeed exploit quantum mechanics. Photosynthesis, for instance, demonstrates remarkable efficiency that seems to involve quantum coherence, allowing energy to travel along multiple paths simultaneously. Similarly, the navigation of birds using Earth's magnetic field appears to depend on quantum entanglement within specialized proteins in their eyes. If nature itself employs quantum tricks to sustain life, could our most intricate organ, the brain, be doing the same, weaving the threads of consciousness with the subtle patterns of the quantum world? Philosophically, this intersection raises profound questions. If consciousness is tied to the fundamental architecture of reality, it may not be confined to the human brain alone. Could awareness exist, in some form, in other organisms, or even in the universe itself? Panpsychism, a view embraced by some contemporary thinkers, suggests that consciousness is a fundamental property of all matter, not just a byproduct of complex biology. In this light, the universe is not merely a stage for life, but a vast, conscious tapestry, and we are not isolated observers but threads woven into its unfolding. The implications are staggering. Reality and mind may be inseparable, each reflecting and shaping the other. And yet, for all the fascination, humility is essential. Experiments are ongoing, and theories remain debated. The brain is not a simple laboratory apparatus, and consciousness is not a variable that can be easily measured. While quantum theories of mind offer intriguing possibilities, much remains unknown. What is clear, however, is that consciousness is a bridge between the tangible and the intangible, between neurons and quarks, between the self we perceive and the vast mysteries of the cosmos. Each moment of awareness is both ordinary and extraordinary, a single note in an infinite symphony. As we drift deeper into understanding, we encounter the subtle interplay between science and philosophy. Neuroscience can map neural circuits, quantum physics can describe probabilistic behavior, and philosophy can explore the implications of experience, but no single discipline alone can capture the full essence of consciousness. It resides at the confluence of knowledge, a frontier that challenges our assumptions and stretches the imagination. To study consciousness is to embrace uncertainty, to gaze into the vast unknown not with fear but with curiosity, and to recognize that the journey may be as profound as any destination. Now, as you sit in the stillness, listening, perhaps you sense the delicate tension between mind and matter, between observation and reality. Each thought you have, each fleeting sensation, may be entwined with forces both seen and unseen, a subtle reminder that your own awareness is a marvel, an active participant in the unfolding of the universe. It is a gentle, humbling truth. Consciousness is not merely something we have, it is something we are, inextricably linked to the deepest patterns of existence. And in this recognition, a quiet wonder arises. The next time you feel a thought forming, a memory stirring, or a sensation of being, remember that you are not just an observer, you are part of the mystery itself. The mind, the universe, and the invisible laws that bind them are engaged in a delicate dance, a dance that has been ongoing since the first particles coalesced, and one in which your own consciousness is a luminous, participating note. To explore it is to explore the very essence of what it means to exist. In quiet labs and remote research centers, scientists are beginning to design experiments that probe consciousness itself. One of the most intriguing approaches involves what is called neurofeedback. In these studies, participants are connected to brainwave monitors, and they learn to influence their own neural activity in real time. What might seem like simple control over thought patterns or relaxation can reveal deeper truths about how the mind interacts with itself, and perhaps even how it interacts with reality. When individuals enter these altered states, brainwaves slow, coherence increases, and for a fleeting moment, the boundaries between self and environment seem to blur. Such experiments hint that consciousness is more fluid, more interconnected, than our waking mind typically perceives. Another avenue explores psychedelic states. Substances like psilocybin, LSD, or DMT temporarily shift neural activity in ways that dissolve rigid patterns of perception, creating experiences of unity, timelessness, and profound insight. Neuroimaging studies reveal that these states reduce activity in the brain's default mode network, a set of regions associated with the sense of self. In these moments, individuals often report feelings of interconnectedness with the universe or experiences that resemble the very essence of pure awareness. Could these glimpses into altered consciousness offer a window into quantum processes at work within the mind? While this remains speculative, it raises fascinating possibilities. The structure of consciousness may be more dynamic than we have ever imagined, capable of flexing and expanding beyond conventional limitations. Beyond the brain itself, modern research is exploring entanglement-like phenomena in cognitive processes. Some studies suggest that pairs of individuals can exhibit correlated physiological or neural activity, even when separated by considerable distances. While these findings are in early stages and highly debated, they echo principles found in quantum mechanics, where entangled particles maintain instantaneous correlations across space. If consciousness exhibits similar patterns, it may imply that awareness is not strictly confined to the physical boundaries of the skull. Our minds could be part of a wider network, subtle and invisible, yet profoundly real, a continuum connecting the observer to the observed, the individual to the cosmos. These possibilities are mirrored in meditative traditions, some of which have explored consciousness for thousands of years. Monks, mystics, and sages have long described states of awareness that transcend ordinary perception. Modern science, through tools like EEG and fMRI, has begun to document the neural signatures of these states: slower, more coherent brainwaves, synchronized oscillations across distant regions of the brain, and heightened connectivity that seems to dissolve the usual boundaries of thought. When viewed through the lens of quantum consciousness theories, these ancient practices may be revealing a kind of resonance between mind and matter. A subtle attunement to the deeper laws of reality that modern science is only beginning to understand. At the frontier of this research, technology is offering unprecedented tools. Brain-computer interfaces allow individuals to control machines with thought alone, translating patterns of neural activity into movement, communication, and even creative expression. While the mechanisms are classical, the astonishing precision with which consciousness can direct these systems underscores the profound power of awareness itself. And as quantum computing advances, some theorists speculate about future experiments where human consciousness interacts directly with quantum systems, potentially testing the very limits of observation, entanglement, and wave function collapse. The boundary between mind and the quantum world may be closer than we have ever dared imagine. Yet, with each discovery comes humility. The mind is not a machine, and consciousness is not a variable to be neatly measured or predicted. The richness of subjective experience, thoughts, emotions, imagination, and awareness, resists reduction. Even as science advances, there remains a vast, uncharted territory of perception that defies classical explanation. What we can do, however, is observe, experiment, and reflect. By examining altered states, quantum interactions, and neural dynamics, we slowly map the contours of a phenomenon that is both deeply personal and universally mysterious. Each experiment, each insight, illuminates a fraction of the intricate mosaic that is consciousness. Consider the implications for everyday life. If our awareness is connected, even subtly, to deeper levels of reality, then each act of focus, each moment of mindfulness, could resonate beyond the individual. Every thought, decision, and perception might ripple outward, part of a complex interplay between mind and matter. In this sense, consciousness is not merely an observer but a participant in the unfolding of reality, contributing to the shape of the world we experience. This idea is profoundly empowering. Awareness is not passive, it is active, engaged, and fundamentally creative. As we look to the future, researchers are designing experiments that were once the stuff of science fiction. Imagine setups where quantum systems are monitored while individuals enter deep meditative states, testing whether conscious intention can influence outcomes. Imagine global networks of minds interacting subtly with probabilistic systems, offering hints of entanglement at a cognitive level. These are not idle fantasies but plausible frontiers, where neuroscience, quantum physics, and consciousness studies converge. Each step forward may bring us closer to understanding the true nature of awareness, bridging the gap between subjective experience and objective reality, between mind and cosmos. And yet, the most profound discoveries may not be scientific at all, they may be experiential. As you reflect on your own awareness, the rhythm of your thoughts, and the subtle play of perception, you touch the very edge of mystery. The sensation of being, of existing, of observing and interacting with the world, is itself a remarkable phenomenon. Science can illuminate the mechanisms, philosophy can explore the implications, and meditation can reveal the immediacy of experience, but the full essence of consciousness is something we live, moment by moment, in the quiet spaces of our mind. In the end, exploring consciousness is an invitation, to wonder, to question, and to embrace uncertainty. It challenges us to see ourselves not as isolated individuals but as participants in a vast, interconnected web of awareness. Every thought, every perception, every fleeting insight may be part of a larger pattern, a subtle reflection of the universe itself. And in this quiet, immersive exploration, a gentle truth emerges: consciousness is not just a mystery to be solved, it is a reality to be experienced, a frontier as vast and intricate as the cosmos itself. As science marches forward, the boundary between human consciousness and technology begins to blur. Researchers are exploring ways to replicate cognitive processes in machines, to create artificial consciousness that may one day mimic or even extend our own awareness. While current artificial intelligence excels at tasks, pattern recognition, and simulation, it remains far from truly conscious. Yet the theoretical foundations are being laid: neural networks inspired by the structure of the brain, quantum computers capable of handling superpositions and entanglement, and interfaces that link mind to machine. These technologies hint at a future where consciousness may not be confined to flesh and neurons, where awareness could exist, at least partially, in silicon, photons, or quantum states. This raises profound questions. If consciousness can be emulated, what does that mean for identity? For morality? For experience itself? Could a machine ever feel, or would it simply simulate feeling so convincingly that it appears sentient to us? These questions are not hypothetical, they are at the forefront of neuroscience, philosophy, and artificial intelligence research. By studying consciousness in humans and machines alike, we may uncover principles that transcend biology, principles that reveal the underlying architecture of awareness itself. In doing so, we confront the age-old question: what does it truly mean to be alive, to know, to observe? Ethics becomes central in this exploration. As we experiment with consciousness, whether by altering human neural activity, creating artificial awareness, or merging mind and machine, we must consider responsibility. The potential to influence, enhance, or even manipulate consciousness carries enormous consequences. We are not merely building machines or conducting experiments, we are shaping the very nature of experience. Ethical frameworks are being debated alongside scientific advances, ensuring that curiosity does not outpace compassion. The future of consciousness is not just a technological frontier, it is a moral one, a landscape where imagination and responsibility must walk hand in hand. Looking further ahead, some futurists speculate about mind uploading, the idea that a human mind could eventually be transferred to a digital substrate. While this remains theoretical, it forces us to question the permanence of identity, the continuity of experience, and the relationship between mind and body. Would a digitized consciousness retain the essence of its original self, or would it be a copy, a new entity that merely remembers the original? The thought is both exhilarating and unsettling, offering visions of immortality alongside profound philosophical puzzles. In exploring these possibilities, we confront the limits of our understanding, stretching imagination to its outermost edges. The implications for society are equally profound. If consciousness can be augmented, replicated, or transferred, how will it change the human experience? Could collective consciousness emerge through connected minds, allowing unprecedented collaboration and empathy? Or could the very nature of individuality dissolve, replaced by a fluid, shared awareness? Science fiction often dramatizes these ideas, but emerging research suggests that the seeds are already present in neural networks, quantum experiments, and cognitive studies. The next few decades may bring revelations that challenge our assumptions about life, identity, and reality itself. Yet amid these extraordinary possibilities, one truth remains grounding: the richness of human experience cannot be reduced to algorithms, codes, or probabilities. Consciousness is lived, felt, and observed from within, intimately tied to perception, memory, and emotion. No matter how advanced our technologies, the subjective experience, the first-person perspective, is irreplaceable. This duality is what makes consciousness so captivating. It is both deeply personal and universally mysterious, a phenomenon that invites exploration, reflection, and wonder. As we navigate this frontier, it is essential to remain both curious and humble. Science can illuminate mechanisms, philosophy can frame understanding, and technology can extend possibilities, but the essence of awareness may always retain its mystery. In the quiet moments, as you notice the rhythm of your own thoughts, the flow of attention, and the subtle sense of being, you are touching the edge of a phenomenon that has captivated thinkers for millennia. Each insight, each observation, each fleeting reflection is a step into a realm where mind and universe intertwine, where the known and unknown dance in delicate balance. So, as you continue your own journey of awareness, take a moment to observe, to question, and to marvel. Reflect on the vastness not just of the cosmos, but of the inner universe within yourself. Contemplate the possibilities of what consciousness might be, how it might evolve, and how it might connect all of us to one another and to the fabric of reality itself. The mysteries are vast, the discoveries are just beginning, and your own mind is part of this grand, unfolding story. And if this exploration has sparked curiosity, wonder, or even just a quiet sense of awe, I invite you to stay connected. Subscribe to the channel and join our journey through the mysteries of the universe, the depths of consciousness, and the frontiers of science. Every new video is a step deeper into understanding, a calm voyage through ideas that challenge and inspire. Click the notification bell to ensure you don't miss our next immersive journey into the hidden truths that surround us. In exploring the universe and the mind, together, we uncover not only knowledge, but a profound sense of connection, wonder, and the quiet magic of being aware.